Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email me at tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we are discussing the Omega Seamaster Diver 300-meter Beijing 2022. It is a special edition for the 30th Olympics timed by Omega, as well as a salute to the Beijing Winter Olympics of 22. So the watch in stainless steel is a special edition with a titanium bezel insert, and you can see that on the reverse side it is a special edition, but not explicitly a limited edition. All in steel, it's 42 millimeters in diameter. It's 13.5 millimeters thick. Thanks to the solid case back, it's a little bit thinner than a standard Diver 300 meter. From lug tip to lug tip, it is 50 millimeters, and then the spacing between the lugs is 20 millimeters. Taking a quick look at the watch on my wrist is 16 centimeters. You get a sense of how it wears. Relatively short across the wrist for the size, as well as the aggressive sports category. It's particularly thin, not Rolex Submariner thin, but thinner than most automatic winding Omega sports watches in their catalog. I would recommend it for a wrist as small as 15 centimeters circumference. Now, taking a quick look, you can appreciate that it's actually low enough that it will fit underneath some cuffs, so don't give up on dress sleeves with this watch. This can be a two-way player. Dress and sports. The bracelet is robust, the best version of a bracelet that has been evolving on the Diver 300 meter since its debut in 1993. It still has a little bit of a hybrid dress sports aesthetic to it with these polished intermediates, but you can see that the shoulder links are now much more squared off from top to the flank. They're not rolled and rounded like they were back in the 90s and 2000s. Also, a big material upgrade from that era. The construction is more robust with less play, and removable links are fixed with screws rather than pins and sleeves. You can also see that there are intermediate sized links built in there, so you have some fine adjustment tolerance, and then you can also appreciate that you have more fine adjustment built in, as we have a fold-out all-or-nothing dive extension and then a push-button incremental slider that is about 9.6 millimeters in and out. So you have quite a bit of adjustability. Full-size links, intermediate-size links, the fold-out extension, and then the push-button slider. The clasp is remarkably robust, thick-gauge steel, and you can see that well here. It's satinated externally with some beveling to highlight and polish the flanks. You can appreciate that it is a single fold with twin trigger release, so you have that robust swing arm, and then it only pops open if you press both triggers, not one, both. Taking a look at the case, familiar lyre-style lugs, we've known them for decades. Since the first half of the 1960s, we've seen these double-beveled lugs on Speedmasters and Seamasters. So we have an inboard bevel that's satinated and an outboard bevel that is polished. We have twin crown guards, a screw-down crown, 300 meters water-resistant, and then the watch does have the helium escape valve, and on this generation of the Diver 300 meter, you can actually open it during a dive if you feel like suddenly you might need it, whereas on previous generations it had to be opened before the dive. You can also see that the helium escape valve, which is designed for those saturation divers and hardcore professionals, it now has a conical profile rather than a cylindrical profile. The bezel is 120 click, and it has a much more pronounced and positive tactile feel and sound than prior generations of this model. Now we have this sort of laser-ablated, polished and frosted titanium insert within a steel bezel. We'll do a quick loom shot so you can see how this bezel works. It's used for timing your dive or anything else that might come to mind. You can see all three hands are loomed. The bezel pearl and the minute hand are green. The rest of the dial is blue to make it easier to read elapsed time relative to those two critical points. Those are your reference points for a dive. Now the dial base is a blue ceramic. It's zirconium oxide, and if I were to move the hands out of the center, you would be able to see the chemical symbol for zirconium oxide hiding right there. There it is. The dial has the classic Omega Wave look that was popular back during the Pierce Brosnan era of this model in the 1990s. We have, however, something Pierce never knew, which is all applique indices, as the watch has gone a little bit upmarket since then. Nevertheless, it does retain the classic Seamaster Diver 300 meter profile, shallow knurled bezel, skeletonized James Bond hand, and of course that wave motif. Now, Blink and you'll miss it, but the individual indices are the different colors of the Olympic logo. You can also appreciate that the watch includes 2 subsidiary setting modes. Taking a quick look, pull the crown out all the way, hacking seconds, so you can stop the balance and synchronize to a reference time. And then there's also a quick set, so you can rapidly set the date. Now, flipping the watch over, we have Omega's exclusive caliber. This is the 8800, so I say exclusive because it is ultimately designed by ETA, but it won't be found in any other Swatch Group products. It's an automatic winder with single barrel and a 55-hour power reserve. It has the stop second, it has the quick set, it beats away at 25,200 vibrations per hour, which is a Swatch Group general guideline for watches with silicone hairsprings, so this one has that, so it beats at 25.2. It has a full balance bridge and a free-sprung balance for shock tolerance and that anti-magnetic silicone hairspring. It is a 35 joule movement that is certified as a master chronometer, which means, yes, it's gone through all of the ISO 3159 chronometer tests, but it's also been tested for winding efficiency, power reserve, water resistance, shock resistance, and anti-magnetism, as master chronometer, or the METAS standard, is a test of the full assembled watch. It also is a coaxial escapement, tri-level coaxial, the latest version of the system, envisioned by George Daniels in the 70s, industrialized by Omega in 1999, and now largely perfected, delivering improved power reserve, precision, and reduced maintenance requirements. It is probably still the most exotic escapement you can buy for under $50,000. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.